I'm here with Quentin Stroud. This is season 7, episode 2. We're going to do a video podcast on assist video podcast. Quentin has a very nice pool behind him, and I've got a bunch of plants. My pool's out that way. So, anyway, we are going to give the video realm a try for the podcast and see how this goes. Scientology will be joining us next week as well. So we'll have 3 different people here. So anyway, let's, without further ado, get started on why in Independent Scientology we do assists. Quentin,
Yes.
would you like
Yeah.
to?
Well, first of all, I want to say that this was a very personal topic for me because assists have been really, really integral in me kind of operating and functioning on my own level, right? So
Mhm.
when I thought about the idea, I said, let's talk about this because I know how it's helped me, and I'll go into some more specifics later. But I know how it's helped me, and I know that for those of you who really want to tap into assists and utilizing assists to kind of get you through some stuff, get you beyond some current present time problems, assist could be a really really good way of doing that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I've used assists with my kids hundreds of times.
Yes.
Drunk assists. I mean, we'll get into all of those. I mean, there's a lot of assists actually, and they're very useful. We also want to point out that we have chat available in our live
Yes.
podcast, the video podcast. So if you want to ask some questions or want us to cover something, be more than happy to answer those questions. You already have one user saying good morning. So
Good morning. Good morning.
I said
So
good
we,
morning.
we, we can't see your name, so we'll just say hello, but
Yeah.
we can't see your names right now if you're on Facebook.
So why do we do? Well, how are people predisposed to needing assists?
Well, one thing about assist is that it's dealing with any kind of present time discomfort, present time pains, things that's going on, whether it be mental and or physical, right?
Hmm.
And obviously those two things are interconnected. Now, before we get started, I definitely want to mention that assists do not replace medical treatment. Okay,
Right.
so for
We are not
anybody who
doctors.
says Scientologists don't like medical treatment, we do. Okay, definitely do what you got to do to make sure your physical body is well taken care of.
That's right.
But assist can help you to alleviate physical pain and discomfort. And when we're talking about assist, we're really talking about you healing you. Okay.
Hmm.
We're talking about you helping yourself. And obviously, somebody who's trained in Scientology assist and stuff like that can help you to help yourself. Help me help you. Right. And
Right.
so, assist is really important for that. So, when we're talking about assist, we're talking about either A, people who are obviously right now, right here, dealing with some kind of pain or discomfort,
Hmm.
or people who maybe have been some kind of predisposition to certain states, right? Predisposition to certain conditions or illnesses,
Yeah.
predisposed even to accidents, right?
Hmm.
There's some people who
Hmm.
are, they call them accident prone, right?
Yep. Yep.
And so people who are predisposed to that, there could be also a precipitation of something going on, which it just starts to kick in. It starts to pop
Hmm.
up, right? And it just turns on. And you're like, oh, where'd that come from? I think in the medical field, they call it autogenetic. It just sprung out of somewhere.
Hmm.
And then lastly, any kind of prolonged conditions, right? Assist can be really good for prolonged conditions and they
Yeah.
help you kind of recover.
I've had people as a CS do hundreds of touch assists. That really help get them in present time due to the discomfort that the body is predisposing them to.
Absolutely.
So, that, and well, we'll get into the types of assists here in a little bit.
Yeah.
Uh, so, some of the other points that he brings up here, he says the purely physical facts of injuries, illness, and stresses are themselves incapacitating, do themselves often require physical analysis and treatment by a doctor or nutritionist. These could be briefly cataloged as physical damage to structure, disease of a pathological nature, inadequacies of structure, excessive structure, nutritional errors, nutritional inadequacies, inadequacies,
Hmm.
vitamin and biocompound excesses, vitamin biocompound deficiencies, mineral excesses, mineral deficiencies, structural malfunction, erroneous examination, erroneous diagnosis, erroneous structural treatment, erroneous medication. There's another group which belongs to both the spiritual and physical divisions. These are allergies, addictions, interesting addictions, habits, neglect, and,
This is so good.
and decay. Any of these things in any of these three groups can be a cause of non-optimum personal existence that these types of assists can help. And
Hmm.
he says, we are not discussing here the full handling of any of these groups or what optimum state can be attained or maintained, but it should be obvious that there is a level below which life is not very tolerable. And this is what assists are for. Is they're there to help make people live a more tolerable life, quality of life. I
Yes.
mean, that's what Dianetics and Scientology is all about, is improving your quality of life exponentially.
And isn't it wonderful to know that you can feel better, right? Whatever's going on, whether it be a mental state, whether it be dealing with a loss, which was one of my biggest wins when it comes to
Hmm.
assist, dealing with the loss, whether it be stubbing your toe on the edge of the bed on the morning right before you got to go to work on a big presentation or something or whatever, and you want to really be in present time so that you can get this deal closed, whatever it is, like you can, there's assist available to you. And if you know the tech, there's assist available to you that can right now help you to feel better so that you're not to that degree inturbulated as you move forward. Right.
Hmm.
And so can I just tell real quickly one of my big wins?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So two actually, I'm gonna give two. So we're gonna get into the particulars of what type of assist exists, but I'm gonna go into this one first. First is a touch assist. And a touch assist is basically where the trained person, uh, obviously, is usually somebody helping you. The trained person will touch different parts of your body, right? Will touch different parts of your body in order to get you back into communication with your body, right?
Hmm.
Put that attention back there, right?
Hmm.
Because obviously, if you're dealing with an injury or something like that, you're not communicating with that part of the body as well because of the shock, because of the pain. And so it just kind of gets that attention back going on your body. Well, anyway, I was dealing with a situation where my 2D cut his hand, was washing dishes and sliced open, like the glass broke, sliced open the hand, like all the way
Hmm.
down. It was disgusting.
Hmm.
Blood was everywhere. It was totally scary. And the first thing we do, of course, is wrap it to try to stop the bleeding or whatever. But it would not stop. And
Right.
the veins are really exposed in the hand, like they're
In the
very
hand.
close. You
Yeah.
can sometimes
Yeah. On
you
the
can sometimes even
surface.
see your vein through your hand. So we didn't know what had happened. So we wrapped it up trying to stop it. I grabbed some ice to try to stop it because ice kind of slows the blood flow or whatever. To try to stop it, still was not stopping. It was pouring out.
Hmm.
So I didn't know what else to do. I said, "Let's do a touch of sis."
Yeah.
So while the hair was elevated,
Why not?
right? While the hair was elevated, start doing touch assist. Right, touch, feel my finger, feel my finger, feel my finger, feel my finger, whatever. Start doing touch assist, and I did it all the way down the arm on both sides,
Hmm.
and did it around the hand, around the damaged part on both sides, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
But this was a damaged hand, but I did it on both sides.
Right.
Do you know while we were sitting there doing this, and it could have been like 3 minutes, I don't know how long it was, but while we were sitting there doing the assist with the hand elevated, the blood flow totally stopped. And let me tell you how weird it was that this happened.
Hmm.
It wasn't like the blood flow slowed down and it was just still kind of pouring out a little bit when we had to get to the hospital. There
Right.
was no liquid blood coming out of his hand. None.
Hmm.
It was like it was an open wound, but nothing was coming out. And I was
Hmm.
like, okay, that's kind of freaky. It really, I would say, prevented us from having to go to the hospital. Of course, we
Hmm.
continued bandaging it, and it ended up healing just fine. But that was weird to me.
Yeah. Well, and that's the purpose of a touch assist is for the being in the body to get back in calm with each other, is to return that communication.
Right.
There's assists are a very shallow light gradient that a CS would use with somebody who's having body problems, because you have to do a light touch for the CS series on that type of thing. And in these
Mhm.
sorts of situations, it's the only thing you can use. You can't sit there with somebody who's got blood gushing out of their arm and say, okay, so where could you communicate to your hand? From where
Right,
could you communicate to your hand? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It's something
right.
you do on top of, the Himalayan mountains, or, in the Gobi Desert type of a
Right.
thing. And it's not hard, and it's something that's easy to use to get the body back in calm with the being, and the being back in calm with the body.
Mhm.
So I have similar stories myself of those types of things where it's just incredible that these things stop. I've
Mhm.
had people that couldn't walk because their leg hurt so much, and we did a touch assist, and they could get up and walk again,
Yes.
quite literally.
Quite
So,
literally,
and that's
paralysis.
why they're called assists, is they're assisting the person to function better with the body, or using the body.
Right, and I wanna
Uh,
reiterate. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, that's right. Go ahead.
Finish your thought.
Well, I was just going to say that there are a significant number of assists for different types of situations, because different situations call for different types of assists.
Yeah,
And this is why we wanted to do this, to make people aware of the fact that these assists, in certain situations, use this assist. In certain situations, use this assist.
right.
And there are varying degrees on what's going on. We'll get into that here in a minute.
Well, and I wanna say again, um, results are not typical, right? What's true for you is true for you, right? Your experience is your own experience here, and none of these are meant to treat, diagnose, or cure any particular ailment. We just speaking from our personal experience.
Hmm.
Okay.
Right, right. From our personal experience, right. We are not saying that you know we can heal anything or anything like that. But typically with Dynex and Scientology, it says it's miracles as usual.
Yeah, yeah. Well, now, and we know this. We know that just in general, the world itself is not very tolerable of a person who's been injured or ill. Like you just can't function the same way if you're dealing with certain injuries, certain illnesses, a gimp leg, a situation that's kind of going on. I mean, and again, regardless of your ability, your physical ableness, if there's a way to help you feel better and get along better in life,
Hmm.
it's probably preferable to have that in your arsenal, your spiritual ammunition bag, so that you can at least start to do this. And if it's something that you needed to do daily, or if it's something that you need to do on a regular basis to kind of give yourself those wins, it's
Sometimes
something that can
hourly.
help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes hourly, especially in the touch assist department.
Mhm.
I think that more than, I mean, I've known, like I said, I've known people that have had to do them hundreds of times, and it quite literally changed their life by getting the
Yeah.
body that much more in calm. So let's jump to the different types of assists. This is a contact assist
Mhm.
on page 32 of the
Okay.
PDF.
Yep.
Contact assist. What a contact assist is, and this is something that everybody can use. Let's say what's one of the most common things that happens is you stub your pinky toe on the
Oh,
edge of the couch or a doorway or something, and you're walking out, and it is one of the most painful things, because all of those nerve endings in the toes and stuff like that.
or your
And
shin. I hit my
or
shin.
your shin. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. So what you need to do with a contact assist, and instead of paraphrase it here, I'm just going to read it off,
yeah.
because I think that would really help. The use of it is when the exact spot of the accident or injury is available, always do a contact assist. You'll find out why it's a contact assist. It can be followed by a touch assist and other types of assist, but the contact assist should always be done first. If the matter, energy, space, and time, the object is available, it's still around, do a
Mhm.
contact assist. He says there's an old principle in Scientology which consists of putting the injured body member exactly on and in the place it was injured. This is called a contact assist and is the most common assist for accidents and injuries. It is remarkable when it can be done. So let's
Mhm.
say you stubbed your pinky toe or your shin on something. Um, what happens is you're going to have a bruise, or maybe you fractured your toe or your shin or whatever.
Mm.
And what you can do to prevent that from happening is a contact assist. So he says, remember that first aid and physical actions often have to be taken before contact assist can be begun. First aid always comes first. Pointing that
Yes.
out again for a third time. Look over the situation from the standpoint of how much first aid is required, and when you have solved that situation, then render the assist. Auditing will not shut off a pumping artery, but a tourniquet will. Two, take the person to the exact spot where the accident occurred. If the object was hot, you let it cool off first. If the current was on, you turn it off before doing the assist, obviously. Have the
Hmm.
person get in the same position he or she was in before the accident happened. If he had a tool in his hand or was using one, they should be going through the same motions with it. Tell the person to move slowly through the accident, just like it happened. Have them duplicate exactly what happened at the time of the injury by making them touch the exact spot with the injured body part.
Right.
You have them gently touch the thing that hurt them. If they prick their finger on a thorn in the rose garden, you get them to gently touch that same part of the same finger that was pricked with the same exact thorn. Because what you're trying to do here is you're trying to as is the
Yes.
incident by going through it over and over and over. It's very much like running an engram. And here comes one of my cats. Uh, And then he says, there are hardly any commands involved with it. The less you say, the better off you are. Repeat this over and over and over until the exact same somatic turns on and then blows and the pain is gone, accompanied by a cognition. You have to get them to touch the exact same point to produce this exact phenomenon when this occurs, and the assist by telling the person, end of assist. Run until
Right.
the exact somatic turns on and then blows off. And this is really, really fabulous tech, accompanied by a cognition or epiphany realization.
Hmm.
It must sometimes be done on a gradient. Let's say a child stabbed his chin on the lawnmower, stubbed his shin, excuse me, on the lawnmower, and now doesn't want to
Jeez.
stab his chin. Yeah, that might need some medical assistance. Let's
Right.
say he says you don't want them to come nearer than 100 feet from that lawnmower. Okay, you would make him do a contact assist with his shin and body at that point, 100 feet from the same lawnmower, having them go through the motions of the accident. Gradually, gradient by gradient, you narrow the distance that they're willing to approach it, and eventually they'll go up and do a contact assist on the lawnmower. This is reach and
Hmm.
withdraw as well.
Hmm.
All right, you must never forcibly drag the person up to the spot where the injury or accident occurred. It has to be self-determined. If you try to force the PC, you could overwhelm them. Contact assist can be done by oneself on oneself, but one must be sure to do it until the somatic blows. You keep
Yeah.
doing it until it blows and it stops quivering or throbbing or whatever. And this is magic, magic, this stuff is. And you won't, more often than not, you won't have a bruise from it because your body's getting back in calm with itself while you're doing this. Says any type of
Hmm.
injury can and should be handled with a contact assist. It is always the best type of injury assist when the exact spot is available and should precede any other assist actions. Contact assists have unlimited use. They're sometimes miraculous, but they always help.
I love this. He says that by contact assists have unlimited use. Hear
Mhm.
me. Whatever is going on, wherever there's been a certain blow, a sudden shock, a sudden hit, a sudden whatever, do what you got to do to first aid it. Get that person back into the position, the body position, the movement, whatever it is, the shin or whatever, get them into that exact position and have them run it again. It's going to turn the pain on. So listen to
Mhm.
me.
That's right.
I tell
Beware.
people all the time, it's going to hurt. Okay. But you keep going through it and it
Mhm.
blows. The pain dissipates. And it's such an amazing thing. And it has unlimited applications. Like it can be anywhere on the body as long as you have those, same circumstances in place. So I say definitely use contact assist for those of you who just need that momentary relief or that immediate relief of pain, and it shouldn't take long. Every time I've done it, it's always been if it's something simple like a stub shin or whatever, a few times, run it over and over again.
Yeah.
If it's something like what we did with the next one, it might take a little bit longer,
Mhm.
but just use it until you don't have to.
Right. One thing that I recall doing is a sudden stop in a car where the shoulder strap in the seatbelt
Yeah.
was leaving a mark and it was hurting. So we
Mm.
took the shoulder strap and we did the contact assist with the shoulder strap until it blew, just like that. So there wasn't a bruise across the chest.
Right.
So, there's lots of applications for this type of a thing, whether it's a hammer or, it's something coming in or you going into type of a thing.
Right.
So it works in all kinds of situations. Now that brings us to touch assist. You want to do this
Yes.
one?
Yep. So a touch assist. So again, this is what I just talked about earlier. So it says here, the purpose of a touch assist is to reestablish communication with injured or ill body parts. It brings the person's attention to the injured or affected body areas. This is done by repetitively, repetitively,
Repetitively.
sorry.
There you go.
Yeah, repetitively touching the ill or injured person's body and putting him into communication with the injury. His
Hmm.
communication with it brings about recovery. The technique is based on the principle that the way to heal anything or remedy anything is to put somebody into communication with it. Every single illness stems from a failure to communicate with this thing or area that is ill. Prolongation of any chronic injury occurs in the absence of physical communication with the affected area or with the location of the spot of the injury in the physical universe. When attention is withdrawn from injured or ill body parts, so are circulation, nerve
Hmm.
flows, and energy. This limits nutrition to the area and prevents the drain of waste products. Some ancient healers attributed remarkable flows and qualities to the laying on of hands. Probably the workable element in this was simply heightening awareness to the affected area and restoring the physical communication factors. For example, if you do a touch assist on somebody who has a sprained wrist, you're putting him fully, I'm sorry, you're putting him almost forcibly back into communication with that wrist as completely as possible. When he is fully back in communication with it, he hasn't got a sprained wrist. Okay. In addition, to control the direction of a person's attention, a touch assist also handles factors of location and time. If the person is injured, his attention avoids the injured area or, I'm sorry, the injured or affected part. Um, but at the same time, the shock that is in it. So the time that it happened and the location of its happening. He also is avoiding the location of the injury, and the person himself and the injured body part are stuck in time of the impact. A assist, a touch assist permits healing to occur by restoring the person into present and his whereabouts to some degree. So again, we went over it before. You're basically getting the person to be in a comfortable position, and you're telling him we're going to start the assist, and you say, "Feel my finger." You touch a body part, feel my finger, and you do the opposite side. So you want to do both sides of the body with this touch assist. That gets him fully into communication. Now, if you're dealing with an affected area, you want to work, like he said before, you want to work up to that area at a gradient, right? So you don't have
Hmm.
to always go straight for the sprained wrist or straight for the hand or whatever. You work up. So what I did was I started at the shoulder, and I worked down the arm on both sides until
Hmm.
we got to
Down the
the
nerve
hand,
channel. Hmm.
and then we worked back up, right? Because it was the blood flow, right? So we worked back up it as well. By doing this, you're getting the person communicating with the whole scene, right? The whole scene. And we stayed in the kitchen. So where the injury happened, we stayed in the kitchen so that not only was he in the area, but he was also in that time the whole thing was happening, and we did it work like magic.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can do this for 5 minutes, or you can do it for half an hour or an hour if need be, and it will definitely pull the person and the body into present time. Um, I'd have to say that a touch assist is probably one of, if not the most used assists that we have. And there's two different commands for it. There's feel my finger, and a higher level case would be look at my finger.
Hmm.
Just to point
Yeah.
that out.
Well, and he also makes mention to you make sure you give the command first and then do the touch, right? So
Hmm.
don't say, feel my finger, feel my finger. You got to say, feel my finger,
Hmm.
feel my finger.
Hmm.
And when the person does it, when the person obeys the command, or does the command, you acknowledge the person. Thank you. Okay, got it. You give them an acknowledgement each time. Feel my finger. Thank you.
That's right. One
Feel my
cycle of
finger.
communication.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Now, and it's important to note also that you have to balance it out both left and right sides of the body, front and back sides. If they're laying down, you can do, you know, top to bottom, and then have them roll over, and then do top to bottom again.
Yes.
And
And
you want to do it until they feel better and more in present time.
yep. And it accompanies a cognition. So there's some awareness, like, oh my God, I can't believe that. Whatever it
Hmm.
was, or
Hmm.
however they whatever they cognate on in their own awareness, right? And then at that point, you just end the assist. So that's the
Right.
touch assist, guys, and it really does work wonders. I am a testament to it. So if you have any questions, comment below, and we'll make sure you get the data. So
And it's also important that if the person has a headache, you don't want to do a touch assist on a person with a body that has a headache. There are
that's true,
reasons for this that we won't go into, but wait till their headache is gone, and then you can do a touch assist. If the headache remains, no touch assist.
right?
Okay, so that brings us next to let's see here, locational.
Well, I want to do this one before we go into that one.
Hmm.
There's one for it's a type of a touch assist, but it's for an unconscious person,
Oh, the
right?
unconscious person assist.
Yeah, because it's really good because you never know if a person, if you have a family member or loved
Right.
one that might be in the hospital or might
Yep.
be in a coma or might be unconscious or whatever.
Hmm.
The one for the unconscious person, it basically says the touch assist can even be done on an unconscious person. Uh, you establish a calm line with the person by
Hmm.
gently taking the hand and telling them to, when you feel my finger, squeeze my hand, right? And so you have one hand and then you do it same way, and just let even the person, if the person's unconscious, you still want to acknowledge them, you still want to work with them and stuff like that. But that's a good way to kind of get that person in a touch assist to acknowledge that it's being done. You can also do this on animals as well. It's really good. Okay.
That's right, and it's important to note that I have not seen myself, but I have talked who have been with people who have been in a coma, and they went in and did this for weeks at a time, and the person was pulled out of the coma. Now, I'm not
It's
saying that
amazing.
that's what did it, and I'm not drawing point one to point two. I'm just saying that this was done, and the person did come back to the body, and it started
Right.
functioning because it's an out communication that you're getting put back in with a touch assist.
Amazing.
So it is. Next is a locational assist. A locational can be run on someone who feels bad or has some vague ache or pain. It works well in hospitals, uh, maternity wards, that type of thing. And it's really simple. All you do is have the person look at that chair, thank you. Look at that floor, thank you. Look at that hand if they have an injured body part until they brighten up and they have a cognition. Always brighten up, and a cognition is the end phenomenon in this.
Mhm.
And locationals can be done also near and far away, where you have somebody who is, well, they're out of present time and you want to get them in present time, because typically when somebody is restimulated or keyed in, they need to be brought to present time. So you can take somebody out for a walk and you can have them look at things near and far away. Look at that light pole, thank you.
Yes.
Look at that cloud, thank you. Look at that inchworm, thank you. Look at that street sign, thank you. That type
Hmm.
of thing. And it's very important that you complete that cycle of communication in acknowledging them. The acknowledgement is crucial, and you have to do it.
Yes.
You have to do it slowly on a gradient, and you'll notice that they'll start chuckling. They'll have a little bit of skip in their step, that type of thing. And it just depends on what's going on, but you might need to do this 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day with
Right.
somebody. And there's reasons for this that we'll get into when we talk about like the loss assist, for example. And
I,
recently, I was told that the church has been using loss assist as an objective, which is incorrect. It is not an objective process by definition. It is an
mm,
assist for those who
right.
are still in the church and might be watching this later on or even now. But the locational is one of our best tools to get somebody. Well, and you can, interestingly enough, when a when a person is so keyed out from session, you can tell them to go out and take a walk.
Hmm.
All right, and they can go out and they can take a walk, and then they can realize
Look
that there's
things
more.
over.
We have more to do, and so it kind of balances things out from high to low or low to high. But
Right.
it brings a person back down to where you can, okay, let's go back in session.
Yeah,
So
if you've been dealing with, subjective processing in your head a lot, dealing with stuff that's been going on or whatever, and you need to get out and take a walk and like see that there's a big world out there, and it actually shows up that the world is actually a lot more havable, because you're actually now like being able to now confront the world for what it is. I'll tell you this: for those of you, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but for those of you who work on a computer a lot or sit in
oh
front of your
yeah.
computer a lot or whatever, and you're like at a certain distance from your computer, right? You're at a certain distance from the computer or even your phone. It's really good sometimes to do a locational assist, uh, close and far away, close and far away, close and far away. Because what ends
Mhm,
up happening is your eyes get trained at a certain distance. Your eyes are
mhm.
used to seeing at a certain distance. So to get far out and just like, it's a really good thing to do to kind of give yourself that every now and again, probably more often than not.
Right, and it's important to note that in and outside of an assist situation, you're dealing with flows. So let's say you're on a computer. It's been found, and there have been lots of studies on this since LRH wrote a lot of these references, that about 45 minutes is about the right amount of time for you to take a break to where you've gotten enough inflow and you need to get a little bit of outflow. So 45 minutes, take a 5, 10, 15-minute break and get back to it. I wish we had done that more when I was on course in
My gosh.
the late 80s, because we were doing 10, 12, 14 hours a day on course, and it's just inflow, 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 inflow. And that
Hmm.
it's really tough on the being to have all that inflow without getting some outflow. And sometimes
Right.
I would get up and go to the bathroom and just throw some water on my face, type of a thing, just to get a little reverse flow. So these a lot of these assists have to do with flows, and I think it's important that we mention that flows are a key factor in a lot of these assists.
I'll tell you what I used to do when I was, of course, like long time like that. I would actually find a reason to talk to the soup.
Right, right.
So I'm studying, I'm like, oh, soup. And I would find a reason
Yeah,
to get it. Like, I got to get some different communication going on, some two-way communication, because this ain't
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a welcome relief, to go upstairs and work with somebody like in the practical course room or in the next room in the practical course room, and switch the flow so that you're doing something else, uh rather than just doing the same thing repetitively for 3 or 4 hours at a time. It's you got to flip those flows. Same thing is true when you're driving. You have to, take a break and get the flows switched so that you can continue to function, have somebody else drive, and do a locational type of thing. It's not really good to do a locational while you're the driver. Anyway, this brings us to nerve assist. You want to do this one?
So, well, I want to say this because nervousness is a very involved process.
Yeah.
I'll give a quick, just kind of take on it. But for those of you who really want to do a nervousness, it talks about here using for straightening the joints in the spine. I also use it for like muscle pains, tense
Hmm.
muscles, people who have nervous twitches or whatever, maybe even some neuropathy. These can be really good. But it basically goes that it follows the nerve channels from the spine, of course, and also even around to the front of the body, the extremities, and then the
Hmm.
legs and the back of the legs.
Hmm.
And you want to start with the base. You want to start with the base of the spine, or I'm sorry, yeah, the base of the neck, the base of the neck, and you use two fingers and you go down the spine,
Hmm.
right? 3 times. This is a non-verbal assist. Okay,
Yeah.
so you don't have
Yeah.
to
It's
say
nothing
anything.
said at all.
Right. You don't have to say, don't say anything on this one. Just let the person originate whatever they're going to originate. Whatever comes up comes out, and then
Hmm.
just acknowledge them, and then get back to it. Until you
Right.
have a in phenomenon that they're ready to be done. But go ahead.
It's a fabulous assist that can be done with, because you have standing waves in the nerve channels, and you're getting that flow going along those nerve channels, and it to me, in some cases, a nerve assist is 10 times better than a touch assist, because you're dealing with these ridges that have been created along these channels, and it
Hmm.
it can be life changing for somebody that is dealing with a lot of pain at a lower
Yes.
level on the grade chart.
That's 100% accurate. And so when you're doing this thing, it's really good because you're going down the spine on either side. So you're not touching the bone like the spine itself. You're on either side of the spinal cord, and then you're going down one, two, three,
Hmm.
and then you go back up one, two, three, right?
Hmm.
So from the
Hmm.
from the coccyx up to the neck, right?
Hmm.
One, two, three. And then you take both of your hands and you go on either side of the body, right? Over the shoulders,
Right, because the
side,
nerve
side, side.
channels extend out from the spine outward
Right.
towards the limbs and around the front.
Correct. Correct. And so you just follow that same nerve channel. One, two, three, four. One, two, three, four. One, two, three, four. Right.
Hmm.
And then you have the person turn over, and then you do the same. One, two, three, four. One, two, three, four. One, two, three, four. And then you go up and down the arm, or down the arms. I'm sorry. You go down the arms. One,
Hmm.
two, three. One, two, three. Same thing with the
Yep.
legs. One, two, three. One, two, three. Let me tell you this. Hopefully that makes sense. If you got questions, comment below. Let me tell you this. Did this and a touch assist. So started with a touch assist, and then
Hmm.
did the nerve assist on a person who was at the National Institutes of Health, was being studied for a brain tumor. His wife invited me in, knowing that I'm a independent Scientologist, invited me in, wanting to see if I could help. The person was conscious, but was not eating, had not eaten in a couple of days, was only just drinking water and sucking on ice, was gray. Okay, gray. When I walked
Hmm.
in, his skin color was gray. When I
Hmm.
walked into the room,
Pallid.
okay, yeah, that.
Hmm.
So I said, "Do you mind if we do an assist, so I can assist you in healing?" And he was like, "Sure." Hey, what's going on from Australia? Um, so I said, he said, "Sure." So I start with doing the touch assist. Had a good VGI, very good indicators, and was offered a cognition. Was good.
Hmm.
I said,
Hmm.
"Okay, let's do a nerve assist." We did the nerve assist, and I'm going for maybe about 45 minutes. It was a pretty long thing. I'm sweating. It was going on. Do you know the person sat up? The guy sat up. Her husband sat up, offered some good indicators, laughing, gave his cognition, and the first thing he said was, "I want some eggs. I want some eggs, and bring me some hot sauce." He said, "I want some eggs and bring me some hot sauce." He said to the people. And he started eating again. Skin, he was a black guy.
Color return.
Skin
Yeah.
color returned to his skin, and
Yeah.
he was doing very, very well. Was actually got out of the hospital, got out of NIH. Really, really good stuff. He since passed away because it was years ago, but it was such a good win that
Hmm.
he had in this moment, just using the touch assist first and then using the nerve assist. Such a good win. This life just came back to him just like that.
Yeah. Well, and we've talked about ridges in other podcasts, and they're a very palpable thing. But these standing waves can stick flows in the body
Yeah.
because of
Circulation.
engrams, secondaries, and all of this stuff, and they can affect circulation. They can affect the communication to the body. That's what nerves are for. So it's very important to not forget to use a nerve assist with people, and the more you do it, the better off the body will get.
Hmm.
So I highly recommend this for anybody that's having any kind of serious miscommunication in the body, or they're having pain or discomfort in an area. you can get the body back in calm with itself very, very quickly. But it is something that you want to do frequently for a few days. You don't want to just do it once and do it cursorily. You want to do it for a few days until the person has several good cognitions on this and they're back in calm with
Yes.
the body. So this brings us to, let's see here. What do we got
Body
next?
cop. You just said
Yeah.
it.
Yep. Body communication process. This one is used when a person has been chronically out of communication with their body, such as after an illness or injury, or when the person has been dormant for a long period of time, like me sitting at the computer all day. Just joking. The
Go
body
ahead.
communication process does not in any way replace or alter touch assist or contact assist where a person has been injured or has specific areas of the body where an assist is needed. The touch assist or the contact assist should be used. The process may be done only after any necessary medical attention or other necessary assists have been done. It is not done in place of these. The purpose of the process is to enable the being to reestablish communication with his or her body. The individual lies on their back on a couch, bed, or cot. During this assist on the clothed body with shoes removed gives satisfactory results. Any constricting articles such as neckties or tight belts should be removed or loosened. It's not necessary to remove any clothing except for heavy or bulky garments. Next, where more than one session of this process is given, the body position may be varied to advantage by having the person lie face downward during alternate sessions. It's very important, and I'll tell you that even in neurodynamics for OTs, at the opposite end of the bridge, at the top of the bridge, you want to vary the area. You do not want to give attention to one body area in any contact assist, in any nerve assist,
Yeah.
or this specific assist here. It's important. It says use the command feel my hand or feel my hands, depending on whether you're one or using two hands. The person giving the assist begins by saying he's now going to do a body comm process as an assist to help the person. He puts in a reality factor by telling the person briefly what the command is and what they will do, which is typical for any auditor. The command is then cleared. This should be done briefly and no question or answering should develop. A dictionary should be used if need be to clear up any words of the command, just like you would in any other auditing process.
Mhm.
And then you start the assist. The auditor tells the person, close your eyes. And then the auditor places their hands on the individual shoulders with a firm but gentle grip using an agreed upon firmness. This is a firmness which the auditor knows is agreeable to the individual, must be done with affinity, reality, and communication. And then you just do the feel my hands and be there with the intention and attention. And you continue to do this, and you get the individual reply that they acknowledge it, thank you, or good. The auditor continues to complete similar cycles down the body, over the chest, front of the chest, sides of the chest, hands on both sides of the abdomen at the waist, and then one hand going around the abdomen in a clockwise direction. The auditor then continues with both hands on the small of the back. A hand is placed over each hip with firmer pressure on these bony parts, then down one leg to the knee, and with both hands, and down either leg to the knee with both hands. And
Mhm.
you continue doing this as ARC builds, even as early sometimes as after the first command. The auditor knows that something is happening with the individual. This is true.
Right.
I've seen this happen. Maybe a communication lag, a slight suffusion of the face, a somatic or twitch of the body with such an indication. The auditor will know that a communication is available to them and should ask what happens. You always want to stay in calm with the pre-clear and find out what's going on, because these changes, they happen quick. So the
Mhm.
end phenomena on this, the process is continued until the person has a good change of cognition and very good indicators, just like any other process. At the end,
Right.
the auditor says thank you and ends off saying end of assist. Always want to do that, end cycle on the assist by saying end of assist. The process should not be continued past the cognition of very good indicators. Reasons for that are you want to key something out. You want to also keep it out by not overrunning it. There are other types of assists. One of them is the loss assist I want to talk about before we have to end the podcast here. If a person has had a loss, let's say a loved one, and they're bereaved, or they've broken up or gotten a divorce or something like that, you want to take them out somewhere where they don't have restimulative things around them. You want to take
Mhm.
them out and you want to do the loss assist. And you ask them, look around here and find something that doesn't remind you of whoever they lost.
Right.
You keep doing this, and what you're trying to do is get them to realize that not everything is a restimulator and that they need to get away from restimulators. And this is a
Mhm.
powerful, powerful assist for people that have had secondaries. I've,
Yes.
it's done wonders for people with me.
I'll speak from my personal experience. My father was murdered when I was 13 years old and had never dealt with it. I dealt with something my mother said after
Hmm.
we found out about his death. I dealt with something my mother said in Dianetics auditing, and because it kind of stuck me in the incident and it was a big deal. But I never dealt with the loss itself
Right.
in using Scientology. And so I'm doing this particular process, and somebody running a process on me, my twin, and this thing blows my mind. And I'm looking around, and I just start crying. And it like when I tell you the pain turns on, the somatic turns on when you're doing a touch assist or a contact assist
Hmm.
or whatever. The somatic is on turn on. Well, on this one,
Oh
it
yeah.
turns on.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
I'm gonna tell you this: when you're dealing with a loss, when you're dealing with the loss of a loved one, and somebody's trying to
Hmm.
help you move in and through that,
Hmm.
baby, it turns on. But if you keep going, if you keep running through it, if you keep look around here and find something that does not remind you of, in my case, father, dad, we call him dad, does not remind you of dad, baby, when we did that, it
Hmm.
changed my life. I have
Yeah.
no longer the adverse effect of my father's murder, and
Hmm.
I can say that to anybody, to anywhere. It worked for me. Now that's
That's
it.
right. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, a lot of time when people have uh, loss on the second dynamic, they'll have, for lack of a better word, irritable bowel syndrome. The body goes into a station of it in that lower area, and if you do a loss assist with them, yeah, it depends on the genetic entities in the body, but
Right.
you can have that happen, and you can prevent that sort of thing where people can get dehydrated because the body is going into a huge dramatization, and the body will come
Really?
up tone because because the thetan is coming up tone. You're dragging the body up tone, and it won't go into these dramatizations of, well, you've heard the expression, when a body dies the sphincters
Hmm.
open up, and that type of thing. Well, it's a little bit like that. And if you get the person
Really?
to get up, yeah, you get the person to get up to present time by doing that, and get out of that secondary, it won't turn on. I know this firsthand. Firsthand.
That is so interesting.
Isn't that
I,
something? Yeah.
is there a reason why that area is particularly affected with the second dynamic loss?
Well,
Why
because there's an association with the second dynamic in that lower area. You've got the
the sacral
genitals
shock?
down there. Yeah, that's right. And that gets keyed in, and all of a sudden now you're running to the
Hmm.
toilet, for 6, 8, 10, 12, 24 hours, 36, 72, depending on the genetic entities that you have and how bad the loss is. But you can prevent that by doing a loss assist, and the body will come up tone and won't go into this sad effect because it feels that survival is extremely cut off because of these losses. And I've seen this many,
Wow.
many times. Yeah. So we got to
That,
end this podcast here and now. We'd like you to visit our website, al-gp.org. We have online auditing where you can audit with Theta Meter remotely from the comfort of your own home. We have an online course room, College of Independent Scientology.com. It's also a social platform you can visit us on. Like, comment, and share on Facebook and on YouTube. And please, please, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tickle that little bell and help us get more people to see this podcast and get the word out. Share it,
yes.
like it, comment. We really appreciate it. And we're going to keep doing more of these video podcasts so you get to see us. And we want to hear from you, and we can talk about these things in the live podcast. So, for Quentin Stroud and myself, we hope you have a wonderful day. And we're going to close off this first video live podcast. Namaste, and we love you. Bye bye.
Peace.